35 years ago. A lot has changed over the years, but one thing still remains the same.
Our passion for fixing cars. With a team of over 12 men and women, they work day in and day out to provide us the best quality service possible.
From light and heavy duty vehicle repairs and maintenance work,
diagnostics and racing transmissions,
performance parts and Jeep upgrades,
automotive detailing,
used car sales,
and towing through our sister company, AC Towing.
Our team has the knowledge and understanding to solve all your vehicle needs while putting your mind at ease.
Experience the Ogilvy difference.
It's worth the drive.
Hello and welcome back to the Bracket Life Broadcast, Canada's drag racing show. Brandon here, as always, joined by my good pal, Andrew Stark. Andrew, how's it going?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Love the intro there. As I get to hang out with you guys more in Ottawa there, the visits, I get to actually start figuring out whose voices are on the intro of the Ogilvy ad. I'm like, I think I know this. So it's a good quiz game.
It would be a good one. It's a good mix of all the different stuff. It is.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's I always think of it, right? I picture everybody talking about it and saying it when it was all going on. So
that's it.
Yeah. It's a good looking little intro. Absolutely. So before we dive into it, obviously, tonight's episode presented by Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service, located in Jasper, Ontario, Canada, just outside of Ottawa, right outside of Smiths Falls, not too far away from getting what you need, whatever it is that you do need. Ogilvy Auto and Fleet Service can not only fix all light and heavy duty vehicles, also a dealer for FTI Performance Transmissions, Jones Transmission Pumps, K&R Performance Engineering Products, Portatree, and Race-Star Wheels. Lots of stuff in stock here. Lots of tires actually moving in and out of the shop here now.
That Mickey Thompson order coming through, right?
Yeah, that's it. So we've been getting a bunch of them going through. A lot of big Bubba's moving out the door. They're obviously always hot on hand, especially this time of year, right? Everybody's getting their stuff kind of wore out, but getting ready to finish it off. Just before the bracket bonanza, we have our spike in tire sales for the race cars. But
that last month and a half run to the finish line, right?
Exactly. You never know what can happen, right? Like, got to finish it off with fresh stuff. Any and all information, check out the website, ogilvysauto.com. We do have a bunch of products listed there, drag racing products, under a bunch of different headers. So you can look for products specifically. If there's anything else that you need that you don't see or something off the wall, just shoot me a message or Ogilvy's Auto on Facebook, Instagram, whatever else you need.
Phone call away.
That's it, man. That's it. It's pretty easy. Send Bracket Life message, send Andrew a message. He can reach out to us. Yep. Andrew's got experience dealing with us, getting converters and things like that through us. So,
tires.
Easy way to do it. Exactly. And deliver to the racetrack as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So easy way to do it. Get it all done. Obviously we do our best to help the racers. Obviously being racers, right? We understand how difficult it can be. So we try and make that process a little easier, especially with shipping things internationally. Most products come from the States, and so get rid of that duty and whatnot. When we can get it here.
The headaches of the border.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about any of it. It'll just show up. If we're going to a racetrack that you are, then magically it'll be there when we roll.
Just drops out of thin air. There it is.
It does. It happens. It's unreal to watch it live. It is pretty neat. If you are tuning in live, be sure to comment. Let us know that you're hanging around. Any questions, comments throughout the show. We love the interaction, love talking as well. Our guest Max, there's a lot that he likes to talk about. So if you've got any direct insight you have for him or questions for him, shoot it in there. And that'll be all good. We'll bring that up, talk about it. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button just below. If you're not watching on YouTube, as always, once the show finishes, go log in, hit subscribe for us. We appreciate it. It helps us out with the show and sharing that and everything else, right? So gotta spread the word. Keep it out there.
That's it.
Andrew, let's dive into the Canadian countdown. We got some NHRA racing.
We kick off on 2 U.S. events. NHRA Lucas Oil Nationals, Brainerd, Minnesota. It's the second to last race before the countdown. So it's always fun from the pro side of things to see how that all shakes out. Darren Butler from, and I'm just going to go Saskatchewan. I'm not even going to bother trying, I think, going with Harp, but in a 41 Willys, so at least I got the car in on this. Taking home the win in Top Sportsman, was following the race. I believe it was on during the Sunday I was driving home from Cincinnati, so it was fun to follow the round-by-round action. Darren taking out the W, had an earned path to get to the part of the race where things just kind of slid in between, I believe, a red light, a by run, and then I think maybe another LB3A for the opponent in the final. The latter half of the race certainly just slid into place for him. The earlier party really earned it. So great job for Darren. Lots of the Canadians at the race. It's kind of one of those races where it's where we see a lot of our mid-Canada. I don't know if that's a word or not, but our kind of...
Sounds good.
Yeah, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Northern Ontario friends all make their way down because that's the closest national event for them. And a few Ontario racers made the trek out there going some rounds. So really cool event. Watched a few go deep into eliminations, but Darren ended up being the king of Canada in that regard, taking on the W. We'll jump quickly down south to Columbus, East Ohio event. Picked up an event at Columbus, Ohio. We watched good buddy Trevor Deeks on Friday night getting it down to 5 cars before turning it red. Dave Gunn wanders down to Columbus. As you've heard us talk about a few different times, Dave has had a fantastic year. He gets things down. I believe it was to 10 cars on Saturday before losing a close race. But for a little while there, Dave looked like he was on another mission to take home a big check, but just missed on that one. I was racing down at Kilcare the same weekend that things were happening at Brainerd. We had some success. Got about halfway on the dragster race, which isn't much to write home about, but awesome event, TV promotions, 50K. Neat track. If you've never had a chance to wander to a TB race, I guess there's no shameless promotion here because I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but fun event. Tyler Bohannon, Brian Whitfield put on a great deal. It was actually kind of a weird deal for them. They had a split event. They do the Verge Promotions, which is a heads-up dragster and door car series that runs at a Bowling Green. Half the team was there while the other half was running a 50K race. Kind of a neat deal. But so the BS Tour made our way down there, and that was at Kilcare. From there, let Brandon take it over. Greenfield had a bracket bash, 3K box, no box. Why don't you fill us in on that one?
Absolutely. It was a great weekend for Greenfield Dragway. A lot of hype moving into this, kind of a high roller weekend of sorts for that area. So yeah, like I said, 3K each day, box, no box. Really cool start to it. We've talked many times about Pro1Safe.ca, Pro1 dealers. Jason McNeil, the Pro1 dealer. That I didn't have my Ogilvy hat. It's in the motorhome, so the trusty Pro1 came on. So yeah, our Pro1 safety dealer for the Maritimes area, Jason McNeil, not only takes the win in box, also puts himself in the winner's circle in no box. So picks up, 6K a day. That's not bad.
A bad deal. All right.
Yeah. So great work for Jason, having a great year. It's doing really well so far. A lot of winner's circle photos this year for him. And I was actually just talking to him before the show about they are headed to Napierville for the National Open this weekend coming up.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, because it's the weekend after Labor Day.
Yeah. Sorry, because TMP's this weekend and then Napierville. Yep. So they'll be headed to Napierville there, kind of to retain or just, I don't know, show up and verify that he is the champion in Supercom is about how it's looking at this point. Yeah, that's it. So we'll see how the next 2 weeks go. You never know what can happen with the series of the best 6 of 12 races, but Jason's pretty well got her licked up there. So he's just putting the cherry on top right now on his season so far. So congratulations to him. In box, Jason took the win over Corey Sprague. In no box, he won over Mike Ingram. So that would have been a great race. Jason and Mike in the final. Mike's having a killer year as well, doing really well.
A couple names not unfamiliar with, right?
No, not at all. We talk about Down East racing. One of the two of them is on every list that we've talked about. I'm sure of it. In junior race 1, Lily Arsenault over Kayan Hogan. and Kean Hogan. Sorry, my bad. I got the pronunciation right. I read it a little quick. And then junior race 2, Kean Hogan. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Now I'm so nervous myself. Takes the win over Chase Massey. So good for them. Congratulations. Super Pro Roddy Smith over Barrett Bonner. Bill Shepard takes the win over Corey Sprague in Pro. So that's 2 finals for Corey. Sportsman was Elliot Sprague over Mario Van Weckham. This is Sunday. Sorry, just
Sunday.
In case we missed this. I skid over that part. Bike sled, shocking. Glenn Frizzle back in the winner's circle over Paul Metcalf. Jake Massey takes the win in junior over Brett Metcalf. Lily Arsenault over Jax Goodwin in junior 2. Corey Sprague takes the win in stock, super stock over Cale Johnson. So that's 3 finals for Corey Sprague. So that's not a bad weekend.
That's pretty good. That's got to bring home some cash there, but some awesome results nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
At the very least, bring some confidence home with you.
Wow, that's it. That's it.
Right. So we'll kick up, and we're going to go sideways in this one a little bit on the fact that we're going to talk about our first points championships. The Race Cayuga Sportsman Series this past weekend had their final points weekend. They still have another event as they get into October, but it's non-point setup. So we're kicking off points championship season. This is kind of a thing now, right?
It's good. It's good and bad, right?
Yeah.
Good that we're here because it's thrilling, but also bad that we're getting that time of year. But
I know we're having that conversation.
Carry on.
So, quick sportsman, Claude Lozier. What can you say more about him? Taking up the essentially this is the quick class, like quick super pro in a sense. Claude's had championships over the years, spanning numerous decades. A fantastic win, kind of one of those sentimental wins. He shows up and has had the same door car for what's been forever. A couple paint jobs on it. Still running Chrysler motors. Still kicking butt and doing well at it. Great to see him pick it up. Super Pro John Robertson picking up the championship again. The other one of those guys that different age bracket, but John has been around forever. I'm not sure. I believe he won a championship back in the early 2000s, but great to see him get back in top. Really tough class. There's some great racers running around in all of them from different generations. Dan Pepper taking home the modified championship, which is fun because Dan's doing it the old school way off the foot brake. There is a foot brake class at the RCSS. We'll get to that one in a minute. But Dan doubles and off the bottom, off the foot brake, taking home the modified championship in what was arguably the largest points class for no box stellar racing in our sector of Ontario, possibly Ontario in general. I'd have to check the Super Tour list to see how big that is, but certainly a great job from him. Bike and sled, Mike Konopacki going back to back. I'm not sure if it's back to back to back. Someone may be able to verify that part, but for sure 2 times in a row for the probably 20th time. I'm not sure how many championships he's up to now. Dan Earl just chiming in. That's John Robertson's first championship. So I must be misremembering the 2000s. John and I duked it out a few different times for titles. He was always in the late rounds. So congratulations to John on his first title, not Mike Konopacki's first title. Congratulations to Mike on that. Darcy McAubrey, my Orangeville neighbor. This one hits close to home. Darcy lives just across town from me here. Foot breaker extraordinaire, picking up the win in the foot brake class for RCSS. And then Street ET, apologize here, trying to work through the names. Sam Snap picking up a decisive W. There's a few of these championships that were runaways. Darcy's was a runaway, practically clinched moving into the final weekend. I believe Sam's was something of a similar nature, just needed to show up, put a couple rounds on the board, and then walk away on it. Sunday, you could wake up whatever time, and the championship was his. And finally, junior dragster Cole Ferry picking up his first RCSS championship. We've talked about Cole before. He has placed in the world championships. He's been to world championships. He's been top 5, I believe, in the world. But I believe it was his first RCSS championship. So congratulations to Cole. And that is our first champions list for this year. It's and I believe Dan chimed in. So 4 for Mike. I'm not sure if that's 4 total for Konopacki or 4 in a row.
I don't know. Could be 4 RCSS ones. We'll find
That's
out.
what I'm working on.
Dan will get back to us. We got faith.
Well, this is why we have the live shows, right? We have live corrections on the air. So that's the RCSS championships. We'll kick it back to you, Mission Raceway, heading out to the far end.
There you go. We did the confirmation 4 in a row for Mike Konopacki.
So back to back to back to back. Yeah, so mean, John Force only did it, 16 times in a row, 14 times? So only a few more years for Mike to figure it out.
Close. Getting there. Getting there. Yes, we'll head to Mission Raceway Park. The Sunset Showdown Series champions were crowned, I believe it was 2 weeks ago now. So they finished it off. We don't have everybody. The results I do have, the Electronics Series champion, Craig Johnson. It was great. Right, we talk about Mission a lot. They do their interviews and the post-race stuff. Craig had a great interview just after the passing of Scotty Richardson, which was a shame and too bad for the whole racing community. Obviously, it was a huge influence on everybody who does race and bracket race at our level anywhere. Right, we all know who Scotty is and are familiar with his work. So Craig was very tight with Scotty. Was part of some of the School by Scotty classes, and then had joined in the Facebook group or class, whatever you want to call it, and had gotten closer with him over the last couple of years. And then Craig attributes a lot of his racing success to Scotty as well, for different confidence and different strategies and conversations that they've had. So cool deal for him. He had a great conversation, a great tribute to Scotty Richardson. In the winner's circle, he did take, I believe he took the event win and the championship win in the same day. Mm-hmm. So yeah, same deal, running foot braking in a electronics class. So everybody else would have trans brakes, delay boxes, and he's just swapping feet in that wagon we've talked about so many times. So good for him, sealing it down again. Multiple championships and wins out there. So congratulations, Craig. Non-electronics class, John Tabak takes the championship. I have Junior Street with Tyler, the winner, and Junior was Bentley. So that's the info we got there. I didn't get a chance to watch all the interviews, but there were a bunch. They have a lot going on. There was a big, I think there's another big pro mod race happening out that way. So I didn't really see any results, but that's what's coming up or what just happened there. So Missions, as much as the series is done, I think there's still a lot going on for Mission coming up.
Yep. I think they have a busy schedule that runs right into the fall. So awesome deal for them. Great place to watch. If you've never watched the live feed from there, it's similar to like Rad Torque and some of the other ones. It's worth catching it when it's on. And with the time zone difference, if you're up late at night, sometimes like I am, you're still catching some great racing while everyone else is slowly starting to fade out.
Yeah, we get home from Luskville, and then you get home at a decent time. Or whatever, 6 or 7, and they're like, midway through round 2.
Yeah.
Because of the time difference, so you can watch some of that. So that's all good. I do have to say hello to Grandma, who is watching from Nova Scotia. She just threw that in the comments. So hello to her. We'll keep rolling. I was racing in Napierville this last weekend, so went there. We were all supposed to go to Luskville 2 weeks ago, as was, most everyone else had some sort of racing plans 2 weeks ago. That was all canceled for the most part due to the weather. So, missed that. Is what it is. Did get to go to Napierville this past weekend. It was a great weekend for weather. Wasn't too hot at all. At night, it's nice. It's starting to cool down.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yep. So then, you're not sweating all day and all night. So it's been great. We had a great weekend of racing, very competitive. My results weren't what I wanted to be. That was for my own doing, taking myself out of the race on Saturday with a red light. And, Sunday, I guess, wasn't. Sunday just lost a tight race. So that's how it goes.
Those ones happen, right?
Yeah. So Super Pro results from Saturday, Sebastian Levesque over Fred Anger. Fred was driving the Chevy 2. That was a great race. Sebastian was on kill all day long, all weekend long. Sebastian had a great weekend. Mike Reynolds takes the win in Saturday, not only on Saturday, but also on Sundays. He doubles up. A couple of 5Ks for Mike Reynolds.
A big weekend for him.
Yeah, killer guy off the bottom. I believe he was using a trans brake this weekend. Napierville allows that, but doesn't matter if he's using a trans brake or swapping feet. Anything off the bottom. Mike's a killer and a great driver.
Correct.
So congratulations to him. The junior winners, I believe Saturday, I'm not sure the first name, but it was one of the Brunet boys. So cool picture. there. So it's Ron Brunet, who owns Napierville, and then Carl Brunet, his son, who runs the the 4-cylinder Pro Mod or Top Sports car. I don't know what. Either way, the 4-cylinder car that goes 380. So that's the one that Carl drives. And then it was one of Carl's sons that put in the winner's circle. So three generations of Brunet racers there. And,
Really cool.
So it's pretty neat, right? Always that family stuff and the family run operations. When you get that, they're really neat to watch. Maverick Angers took the win in junior. I believe that was Sunday. Maverick's been having a great year. Great year in the Super Tour points as well. I was going to bring those up later as we head into the final weekend of that. No, second to last.
Second last.
Of that.
Yep.
In 4 days, I guess.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so good for Maverick, good for all the winners. Super Pro winner from Sunday. I didn't say this earlier. It was 10K to wins Saturday and Sunday in Super. Max Gauthier takes the win over Russ Adams. They both had a great day. Russ was wicked all day. I was watching the slips. That's the nice part about having all your time slips on the app. You can go through and see everybody. Yep. Russ was killer. Missed at a touch in the final, as did Max. They both were killing it all day long. So good for them. And yeah, great way to end the day. So that kind of leads. Wasn't how I planned on leading into our guest, but kind of here we are. And Andrew, is there anything else you wanted to add to the countdown before we did?
Well, I missed over, and I only GBM, they wanted their final points weekend. So you had a great segue, and I'm just going to mess it up completely.
That's all good. That's all good.
Completely messed up this one. Just mentioning Grand Bend coming up with their final points weekend. Mentioning only because there's some real neat points title implications and chases taking place there. We've talked a lot about the Talbot boys in Grand Bend, and Maudie T is showing Jay Talbot going into the finals with a 4-round lead over Brad. Frank Roberts only 2 rounds behind Jay. So lots of great racing going to come up on Labor Day to determine how that championship's going to work out. Top ET is doing something similar with Kevin Knight and Harry Goosen's going to be battling it out with only a 4-round difference between them. Carly Duffy's got an outside chance, needs a big 2 days with some luck from above to sort it out. Sportsman Jeff Talbot, I believe, has it locked up at a 21-round lead. Last time I checked, that would take a lot of racing in order for that to work out. So it looks like he'll be heading back to the WDRA World Championships. So there's at least one Talbot for the 3rd year in a row heading to a championship final in the U.S. Then we've got bike sled. Roy Portis, I believe this was Roy's return to racing. So this was kind of neat. He's leading the bike sled points. And again, 6-round lead, so it should be close there. Junior Noah Gomes over, and I always get the first name wrong here, but last name Dill. 2-round lead. I believe it's only 3 rounds off 3rd. Junior development is a 1-round difference. Open comp's only 3 rounds. I think open comp's running on Labor Day. And then Extreme 32. I always forget their point scheme, but at 200 points, I'm assuming that's only a round or 2 between Tony Yosef and Dean Schwimmler. Elizabeth Quinzel following up there, just about 3 rounds behind. So lots of points implications coming up here for the last 2 days at Grand Bend. I believe the Pro Sportsman Dragster Series is also running that weekend for their final championship. I don't have their final points coming up here, but lots of quick racing around, I believe, too, because Cayuga's running their quick 16. I believe it's another term. I think of the quick 16, but they'll be running the full quarter. So if you're in for Top Sportsman, Top Dragster Racing in the 8th mile, you're going to head to Grand Bend. If you're looking for the long track at 1320, head to Cayuga.
There you go. Those are your options, plain and simple.
That's what it is.
That's it. Cut and dry. So now we will do the segue into our special guest for tonight. Our guest, obviously, we just did talk about his, he's the most recent 10K winner in Canada. I know that for a fact, that nobody has won 10 grand on a racetrack in the last, I guess, 48 hours, just over 48 hours, other than Max Gauthier. So we will bring him on. Maxie,
what's going on?
How's it going tonight, buddy?
Not too bad.
Excellent. Great to have you on the show. We appreciate you coming on, taking the time. You didn't really have much of a choice into it. You were kind of a little bit on the fence. I asked you about it before, and then, we just kind of posted it, and that's it. Here we are.
Oh, well, happy to be here.
That's good. That's good. Glad to have you on. We've talked about this for a while. Andrew Moore has, right? This is kind of, I don't know. I've known you for a long time. We get to hang out a lot and kind of been around for everything of you growing up, at least for the last, I don't know, 10 years
12
at
years
least.
probably.
Yeah. Last 10 or 12 years, right? We were pretty close. So with hanging out and stuff like that. So it's cool to see everything you've done going far, and neat for, Andrew's perspective too, a little bit from the outside, coming in and watching what's going on. So yeah, like I said, great to have you on. I'm excited for the show and kind of share a little bit of stuff about it. So before we get too deep into the recent success, I want you to give us a quick little overview of kind of how you got into racing and got to this point.
Well, as you guys know, my dad races. He's been racing since I think 1991, something like that. And
that's why his hair is all gray.
Yeah. Well, I'm part of the reason for that too. I got to work with the guy every day.
Yeah.
But so I've been around it, since I was born. Before that, and so I started racing when I was 10. I was a little bit late start. Wasn't really interested at first, but I started becoming friends with Nathan Hoffman, Brandon's cousin, and he was racing junior. So, when I started becoming friends with him, I was like, I kind of want to do that too. So then I got a junior and started racing and, getting better and doing well. And got a couple juniors, had some success. I aged out. I started foot braking my dad's Camaro. Not so much success there. But I did that for a year, and then I started top bulbing in that. Took a while to come around with that too. Learning curve. It's tight racing, and so I think I raced his car till I was 19, I think, and then I bought my Vega, and it's been a long road to get my car to what it is now, but it's been a journey.
Yeah.
We're taking a foot brake car per se to make it a top bulb car and competitive in today's racing. It's
and that can be quite the departure, right? The setup on those things can be vastly different from one class to the other and everything it is. And you've done a great job with it because the car has certainly become a deadly weapon. At least based on the vantage point of being a pit partner for a while there on some of the weekends at Luskville. I see you turning and burning where I'm just looking for the next cooler opening more often than not. So, especially this year with some of the rounds you've done, you had a few finals already in 10Ks on top of the win you just had this past weekend. Why don't you tell us a bit more about the Vega you've got now? Because I'm always intrigued in the stories of the development of stuff, right? And letting people buy stuff, and it's a lot of years of learning and getting things figured out. So what is the Vega? What's encompassed? Just give us maybe a bit more about it, and then we'll kind of take things from there.
Like, as you guys know, that was Mike Reynolds' old Vega, and I've seen him win many races with it, and he ended up trading it for the car he has now to Jamie Tupper, and then I ended up buying it and thinking, Mike's winning all the time. This is going to be a great car. And it needed work. I seen the potential in it. And I went with my dad and my uncle Darren, and we went and picked it up and brought it back and got to work on making it a little bit better. And, what helps, I got a really good group of people around me too that have done what I'm doing, and they know what to improve, and we should change this and do that. Like, really grateful to have the people I have around me, and so many people have helped me in so many ways to make that car what it is. Like, I've changed pretty well that whole car by now, other than maybe the rear end and water pump. I think is the only thing I haven't changed on that car.
Yeah,
but
give it time.
Give it time. That's right. But like, it's pretty simple car, small block, power glide, and it works. I didn't You know, didn't do anything different
Yeah,
than
yeah.
anybody else.
You didn't throw out the blueprint on a bracket car and start over again. It's a pretty common type setup in the overall deal, right?
Yeah.
So what's the, and as talked about before, like the transition to go from, you know, junior racing to foot brake, right? Was you would think there'd be a lot more similarities there to make the transition easier. But then again, foot brake can be a really tough class. But to move to the top bulb like you did, and then, you know, quickly move into your own car, how difficult was it to get a handle on just the differences? Because you certainly jumped into a very competitive area, right? The Eastern Ontario Super Tour block is not exactly a, you know, a walk in the park area to go from junior racing straight into a top bulb scenario. How hard was that transition for you, just to finally start to feel competitive, feel good, feel confident when you're hitting the starting line against such great racers?
I'll tell you, I didn't turn on very many win lights for quite a while. I'll say that. We have a really tight group of racers around here, as you know. Like it's tough, and to go home every weekend for probably a year or more and really not turn on any win lights, it sucks. But you know, you got to learn from that and just keep going. And then it was even tougher getting into my car because like my dad's car is unreal. Like it is.
It's a weapon.
Drive it every weekend, if I could drive it every weekend, I would, but I can't. So, but yeah, no, it was tough.
The experience from your dad's end, I mean, you know, if Dale Gauthier, I mean, he's the Super Tour all-time points leader. So when you add up the history of the Super Tour, he is the guy. That's not a bad person to have as your, you know, mentor in this scenario, right? How much of you know, when you're learning this, was a lot of sink or swim or input from him? Because he's certainly a very accomplished racer, done really well. You know, was it more of a matter of just get out there, make your mistakes, or, you know, were you getting coached along a lot through, you know, your dad's input? How does that work out?
He coached me a lot. Like I give it to him. Like he really, you know, he parked himself really like for probably a good 2 years. Like he hardly raced, and just I raced his car, which he didn't have to do, and just let me learn, make mistakes on his dime too. That I will say
that helps a little bit, right?
which he didn't have to do. And you know, I'm grateful for that. Like I got to learn in a really good piece of equipment, and you know, I had lots of info from him every day that we went racing, and we got to race on some good tracks. Like he took me down to North Carolina one weekend for one of the loose rocker races. You know, we went to Cayuga, or not Cayuga. Yeah, we went to Cayuga once and Grand Bend once, and we raced the tour. Like I got lots of seat time, so like that helps. Like seat time, in my opinion, is better than anything anybody could tell you. You got to learn from your own mistakes.
Yeah. No, the more times you can let go of the button and go down there and see stripes, right? Like you're just not going to get any other way of figuring it all out from there. Yeah. The more you can do it, the better you're going to be, right? So that's a cool way to start. But that's, you know, and that's it's not everyone has that you know, mentor to do that, right? Like it's a good spot for you to be in. The funny part about that now is watching you two guys race. You know, we've had a lot of heads up matches where, you know, the ladder's not been in your favor, or just those late round showings because you're both such good racers. There's only so many left. I guess the tricky question here is, what now hasn't he taught you that he's still showing you, and what have you developed to be able to show him? Because I've certainly seen you guys match up enough that, like, if there's two people who know each other and what they're about to execute, this should be it. Yet you guys still go out there and have great battles.
Yeah, I raced him, I think it was 9 or 10 cars on the weekend on Sunday. And, well, I obviously turned the wind light on, but I think the one thing that I can definitely do is, well, the differences between us is his car is so good, I think he just relies on it being dead on. And I, you know, racing my Vega to start, like that kind of taught me a little bit on how to hold. And that definitely helps. Like I think I was holding almost 2 against them and made it work and turned the wind light on. So, there's the differences there. But like that, I think holding, you really can't be taught. You have to do it. But
And that's something interesting too. I think we've talked about it a bit on the show and just in general, right? Where you don't have the great car early on or something like that, right? And you need to figure out how to turn on wind lights. So holding kind of becomes the pattern of choice, right? Because you gotta be able to get there, and the skills you learn to be able to do that, right? So now that you've got the good car, you've really obtained the skill to be able to hold numbers, right? And especially against some fast cars, right? I think that's something a lot of people forget about when they talk, well, I don't have a great car. Well, there are ways around this. There's skills you're going to develop while you figure this thing out, right? And you certainly sounds like you've exploited that weakness to make it a real strength as you've, say fix the car, but as you've developed the car, right? So
yes,
absolutely. And it's tough. I don't know if it's tough. Like I think the ET that you run right now in that car, right? 615 to 620, give or take a little bit, puts you kind of right in the middle, I guess, of the Super Tour door car side, right? There's a lot of guys actually now, you're kind of on the slow end with how many cars are going low 5 seconds, if not faster, at the tour events now. So, there's a lot of getting chased that's happening. There's still a few cars that are slower than yours. So, you get a good mix of how you see the track and the vantage points you get, which is, a lot different than kind of where I am, right? Where I feel I'm just always getting chased right at the moment with how fast all the dragsters are. But how's that switching from being fast car to slow car and back and forth every round? How do you go about setting up for those races?
Well, a lot of time right now, like at a Super Tour event, I'm more than likely the slow car. Like I think I might be able to count 3 or 4 that I might be quicker than. I think my dad, Becky, Ted, Barnes, I think that's really the only slower cars than me. So, most of the time I'm getting chased, but I feel like I am confident enough to hold a couple numbers against somebody going 560, 570. After that, there's no point. You're just kind of guessing, right?
Yeah.
And I would be plenty comfortable holding against somebody slower than me. But a lot of times I do actually end up screwing that up because I really don't see it all that often. I'm better at looking over my shoulder. So
yeah.
I just don't get to do it that much. I would like to go out and race somewhere else, travel away where there is more cars slower than me so I can get a good look at it. But, that'll come in the future.
I think that's one of the things about out east too that I've noticed in my ability to kind of travel around is the anomaly that it is so fast out there, right? The door car side, when you look at most other races and you can use big money races because that's usually the platform we can watch the most. It's mid to low 6 second 8th mile cars are very prominent, right? High 5, and then you kind of have that breakaway group that's in the low 5. Whereas you go out east, if you're not like 570 or faster, seems to be the bulk of the cars, right? With like Brandon said, a whole whack of them in that low 5. So it's a bit of an oddity, I think, in the overall door car world because it is so quick, right? 6, mid to low 6s like you're going. Would most of the time put you right in that middle and only in that range. So it's certainly has sharpened you up to be chased, right? So I'd say traveling a little bit might create a little bit of an issue, right? When all of a sudden now you're leaving second more often than first, right?
Yeah, when you're not racing everybody that's going at least 570.
Like
the population of people going 550, 570 in a door car around here is crazy. It's pretty well everybody.
Yeah, that's the part that most messed me up when I first started to travel out there was just how quick everything was as compared to what you get used to. I mean, back out this way, right? If you're a low 6 second door car, you're probably on the middle to faster part of the pack, right? With a few breakaways from that, right? And because we don't run them separate per se in the local stuff, right? You might get dragsters. You're going to get a mix anyway because you're going to get a bunch of 480, 490 dragsters, whatnot. But it's a bit of an oddity, particularly out there where like you don't see dragsters till those late rounds anyway, right? Because they're going to separate door cars and dragsters. So when you do jump over to that dragster side, which again you've had some luck in doing with some of your other W's and had a lot of experience this year, even in the finals. You said you don't hold as much against some of those fast cars, but do you change anything else on perspective on how you set up? I mean, you still got to try to land this thing low dead on to still have a chance. You don't want to dial yourself out of the race. Do you have any other ways you go about doing it to try to, not carry it, or just try to hopefully hit the tree well and mid to high dead on still does it?
Try and set up like 10 and try and go dead on. And if they can get inside that, then, you deserve it more than I do.
More or less just beat me on this type setup.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the key essentially is let go and stare at the wind light.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did on Sunday.
Yeah, so that's all you need to do, right? If it works, it works, right? It's like you said, it's so tough, especially like that final round. You're doing, I don't know what mile an hour you'd be, 105, 108.
No, like 109 and a half, 110.
Yeah, and then racing Russ Adams, and Russ is coming at you 148 to 150.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so you got 30 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour, for an average dragster, right? 30 to 40 difference. So, that's about all. You make sure he's coming, and that's about it.
Yeah, I have a mirror that I looked up, and I just seen he was coming, and I said, all right, we're just going to look at the finish line.
Yeah, we're just going to stare there and hope for the best. Yeah, that's how it goes. So, Maxie, you've had a great year so far. We'll talk about some for anybody who's not kind of hung around or done stuff in our area, might not know. So you and your dad, as a team, were the Super Tour champions. That was a couple years ago now. What year was that?
2021.
2021 Super Tour champions for the door car side. So that was awesome. That was when you were driving your dad's car. I don't know if did you have your Vega then?
I got it in the fall of that year.
Yeah. So then that's all good. And then so you were both driving your dad's Camaro, Super Tour champions, multi-time big money race winner. I don't know. I didn't really keep track or, didn't do a count of how many, but I know you've parked in the winner's circle more than a few times, right? So very successful on that front. Mainly Luskville, Napierville. Have you put it? I don't know if you won in
Napierville was the first time on Sunday. I went to
Napierville.
I don't know, 2 or 3 finals there, and I've never been able to get it done. So it felt good.
It's a tough place to race.
It is.
And then you spoke earlier about your junior career. Andrew and I both talked with multiple guests before and multiple times just in general about how critical racing juniors was to our program. Like we've said this before on the show, so Andrew not as much because the equipment was different, but I find it was a huge advantage for me growing up. So then what's your correlation between your experience driving junior and then finding success in Super Pro?
You get to understand the sport so much sooner in the junior. I find like you could take a kid at 16 and put him in a car and say, okay, this is what you need to do and go do it. And you could take a junior kid who's been racing since 8 and they already know what they need to do. Like whether you're foot braking or letting go of the button, like that kid's going to have clear advantage. Like it's
just getting acclimated to the speed difference, right?
Yeah. It's just getting used to driving different speeds because, in a junior, you're going 80 at the most, 82, something like that, against kids going 60, 50. Like that's a big mile an hour difference. But if you're like me and I'm going 109 and Brandon Mike Ogilvy is going 150, like that's different.
Yeah, 20 miles an hour at 150 to 130 is a lot different than 20 miles an hour at 80 to 60.
It's happening much faster. Like you got to make your decisions faster and everything. Like getting used to that stuff, that's what it takes. But as long as you can understand the sport, I think that the junior program is the best thing that's ever. sport because it just makes better. 100% grateful because a lot of kids did.
I hear you, but
You
you're
wanna
you're cutting out a little bit there, Maxie, throughout it. But that's all good, right? We'll keep going because it looks like you cleared up there now.
Yeah.
But absolutely, right? The junior program is huge, great benefits. So it's awesome to see it all happen. And it's been cool to watch the transition between it, right? Because obviously I was there for the junior stuff, and then watch everything as you go and as you continue to grow up. It's neat to see, right? Cool to see, and then it just keeps happening, right, over and over again with all these junior kids.
I love watching the junior kids. Like as annoying as they are to listen to, I just love watching them though, because like perfect example, like Haley Ange at the bracket Bonanza, 10 total in a 5,000 junior race.
Just thinking about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't make that stuff up.
Yeah.
That was cool to see. And like that's the future of the sport. And I just love seeing it.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that, and I was drawing a blank on names, so I'm glad you brought that up because I was just sitting there going like that 10 total run, and I couldn't think of who it was. But yeah, to watch that and see someone kids like that be able to develop it and to do so well on that stage, and then it's just a matter of time before they do that in the big cars.
Yeah,
right?
beating up on us. Yeah.
That's where I was going next was give it a couple more years till you get to my spot, where now you're not one of the junior kids anymore, and all the junior kids now are coming up and beating you up. So that's how it goes.
It's like training your own assassin every weekend. You're helping them, right?
It is, right? Because they are going to come and beat you, right?
I'm sure I've had the same thoughts about the folks. Yeah.
It's not fun, not at all. Maxie, so we're winding down in the end of the year, right? Obviously, September's this weekend, so you're headed to the fall bracket. The Super Tour race. Any other big plans for the rest of the 2024 season?
I'd like to make it down to the Numidia Fall 150 in October.
You're so lame. I was ready for the million announcement, Maxie.
No, not the million. I wish I could make.
Well, like let's say hypothetically, what do we need? 18 win lights this coming weekend, right? Consecutively would put 2 5-granders in your pocket. Let's say under guys like that, then technically, are we looking at a road trip in middle September?
Sure. Yeah.
There you go.
Anything's possible, right? So
need a Gage Birch weekend.
Hey, I've seen a guy go and get 2 big checks on the fall bracket for this winning Super Pro both days. I've seen that happen before. You never know what can happen. I was talking to your dad on the weekend, and as he said, he just got to make some money, and he was going to the million. So you made some. Maybe he's still going. Maybe he's just driving the bus.
We'll see.
Talk to him about it on the weekend, but you never know, right? So you were saying, you want to head to the Numidia 150 race in October, see what happens, and
yeah. I've heard from many people that place is beautiful and it's a great place to race, and so that looks like a good event to go to. Nothing else going on, and the year there.
Philly cheesesteaks are excellent.
I've heard that.
Yes,
probably from you.
Yes, it was from me. Absolutely, I've so good. We tried it twice. Yeah.
Is this some of the experiences from junior drag racing? Because I was going to suggest going backwards at my junior experiences. What they taught me was where the buyback window was, where the cooler was most coldest to be able to grab drinks out of, and where the concession stand was most accessible, because I spent a lot of time there not going rounds. So
it happens. That's all right. That's how it goes, right? Everybody's got to learn at some point.
It's all about what you learn and how you take it.
Exactly. That'd be a lot of fun to head to Numidia. I know it's on my list. It's not 100% marked on on my calendar in permanent marker yet, but that'd be a sweet event and be cool for. I know there's a few of us from this area talking about going, so it'd be a lot of fun. Numidia is always a great time, and it is a gorgeous racetrack. So, and cool. October in the mountains is neat.
Yeah, it'd be cool if we got a big group. I like going racing with a group of people. Like going racing with my family school, but when you get a good group, it's a lot of fun.
Get the convoy set up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's fun, right? Especially when you start turning on win lights and everybody kind of gathers and everybody's cheering you on and all a part of it, and we all win together. It's definitely great with those. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yes, we got 2 more Super Tour races currently. Tell them what position are you sitting in the Super Tour points?
5th now.
Oh, there you go. I wasn't sure.
3 or 4 rounds back, I think.
Yeah.
I can let you know here in about 2 seconds.
A live update. So it sounds like you're within a shot, or within. Trying to think here. I'm having a brain fade now live, but you're within striking distance of first place there. So big weekend coming up for you here. It's going to be a dogfight to the end because it's certainly.
Yeah, there's a lot of tough customers within that top 10. So we'll see.
An interesting side that it's the door car side that I think is popular in the top 5. So one would assume some shuffling should take place because when all 5 are coming out of the one side of the ladder, it only takes a few of those characters to race each other early, and all of a sudden that shakes everything up, right?
Yep. And then I think Phil Harvey is 6th and 7th. So
that is correct.
He's breathing down our necks, and he's a tough customer. So.
Almost want to go grab that second ticket to slide over the dragster side just to see if you can deal with business on that side too, right?
Yeah.
You are 1, 2, 3 rounds out of first. So 2.5 rounds essentially. So 2 clean rounds and 1 buyback round, and you're tied for first place. But Mike Chenier currently in the lead. That's Mike's not probably going to have a bad weekend.
No, him and that vet. They make a good team.
I don't think they've had a bad weekend yet this year, right? So,
no, that's everybody talks about. We all talk about Mike Chenier, and Mike got his eyes, whatever surgery on his eyes a couple years ago, and that was the distinctive point of when Mike Chenier's racing career turned around. When he could see the tree, it's bad news. Bad news. Not good for anybody else.
You're telling me vision's important in what we do? This is
oddly enough, it is. So that's what's going on for you. You're close. So 2 more Super Tour races. I would imagine you'll be in Luskville in 2 weeks or 3 weeks as well, closing that out. And you never know. Maybe you'll head to Namibia, and like we said, there's still time to talk somebody into getting you there to the million.
Yeah,
when I went to the million, I didn't decide. We didn't get a hammer down for sure. 2 weeks before, like 2 weeks before the event was when we decided we were going. So we're about there. You turn some win lights on this weekend.
You just need 12 hours. I left for the million Monday afternoon. It was an election of, I guess we're going to the million. And I left Tuesday morning and got there some around Wednesday morning. So, hell, you don't need 2 weeks. Just sometimes 12 hours, 24 hours, but
that's it.
We're just drive there the night before the actual million, like Donnie. And
again, there's lots of ways to cut this cake up here, right? So,
So that's about that, Maxie, for tonight. We're getting close to that hour mark now on the show, but we appreciate you taking the time to come on here, hang out. Hopefully everybody had fun. It's it's cool doing this with you, right? Because like we talked about earlier on, right? We've done a lot of stuff together for so long. You and I did a lot of traveling when I first kind of started going by myself. You'd be rolling with me. We'd take the 2 dragsters and you'd help out, and I'd drive, 1 or 2 of them or whatever it was. We turned a lot of win lights on together doing that as well. Before you were, I think you might have been still racing the junior at that point too, and you were coming and hanging out and we were just getting out. And so we had a lot of fun doing that stuff. So then it's cool now later on, right? Kind of makes me feel like I'm getting older. Going this way and then watching you get to do all the cool stuff that you're doing right now, and then helping out on the car and whenever you do need it, and being there to support you turning win lights on. So yeah, a lot of fun for me getting to be on this side of it, watching everything that's going on. And we don't really talk, I try not to talk about it too much because I don't want your head to get too large. But you are doing really great in that car, doing your own thing, right? There's not very many, if any, kids around that are your age doing it like you are, right? Open trailer, that's your trailer, that's your race car, that's your truck that you're driving, and you're paying the entry, like, and whatnot. Obviously, there's a bunch of help behind the scenes, right? Because we all need that.
For sure.
But all in all, that is your equipment that you're doing, and really cool to be successful with it, right? So it is really nice to see, and I hope people understand the magnitude of what that is, because there's not a whole lot of people in 2024 getting into this that's supporting drag racing, let alone everything that we're doing to the scale that you're doing it. So yeah, it's cool to see, and hopefully everybody kind of more people follow in behind that you don't need to dive into the most expensive or the most fancy race car. A lot of kids out of juniors need to get in dragsters like I did. That you can just take a run-of-the-mill door car, for lack of a better term, and then make it into something special and have a lot of fun doing this, right? The success is awesome, but like to have a lot of fun.
It's rare to even see a open trailer for Super Pro cars now. I think I am the only Super Pro racer in the Super Tour to show up on an open trailer, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. You just got an open trailer. I don't know, open trailer buddy, I guess we'll call it. Cody Newman. Yeah, Cody Newman says open trailer
Cody
for the
Newman
win, right?
too,
Cody's rolling it. Cody came down for the bracket, open trailer. That's all you need, man.
Yeah.
And turn on some wind lights, have a lot of fun.
Well,
so that's a really cool
that
deal.
and some shade, right?
Yeah,
an umbrella with the open trailer, big
help. Does help. Yeah, Maxie. Before we do let you go, I let you take a minute. Whoever you want to thank for helping you out. I know you did a couple of shout outs earlier, but if you had anybody else that you wanted to put in your thank you list.
Yeah, just my family. I have great help from my family. My dad teaching me, my girlfriend for putting up with me being gone every weekend. My uncle Darren, who's helped me do pretty well everything on that car so far. All my sponsors, KD Transmissions, John Golka, my uncle Rob at Jack's Towing, my uncle Daryl, my boss at Gauthier Drywall, for letting me take time off to go do what I do, and all my friends for helping me out at the racetrack, like Brandon, and that's about it.
That's great. Yeah, lots of support, right? Huge family. The racing family is very big. Lots of support from there. Lots of support at home, and whatnot. People being behind you in all the ways that we all have help from our families to get us to do this, right? Because it's not easy. A lot of work that goes into it, a lot of time, a lot of money and effort. So it's all part of
sacrifice.
Yes, there is definitely a lot of that. Yeah. But all right, Bub. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming on. Had a lot of fun. We'll do this hopefully again sometime. We'll now that we kind of did the intro for you on here, maybe next time we can have more interesting topics, right? Have more of a discussion and some opinions on some different ideas. Moving forward, we'll see what happens.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for letting me ramble on.
Yeah. No, we had a lot of fun. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it, and then I'll see you sometime Friday night.
I hope so.
Andrew won't. But I'll see you sometime Friday night.
This weekend.
I appreciate that. Thanks, bud.
Yeah. All right, Maxie. We'll talk to you after, bud.
Bye.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's great to talk to such an up-and-comer, but I'd suggest with the results he's putting up that he's probably already arrived, right? Up-and-comer is not the term to use here now, because that kid scares me anytime I see him beside me in the staging lanes now.
Yeah.
Well, in previous. So great job. Yeah. Great win for him on the weekend. And after a bunch of finals throughout this year, let alone things going back to last year, great to see a result for him.
Absolutely. So we talked about The Bracket Super Tour Fall Bracket Finals coming up this weekend, Napierville Dragway. A couple of 5-granders for Super Pro, a couple of 2s on Semi Pro. Saturday night's going to have the Elite 16 race. A little bit of hype getting for that. The Foot Brake Frenzy coming up as well. Going to be back. I will be back in the KD Camaro for the Foot Brake Frenzy race. So
you got one of the invites in that, don't you?
Yeah. So I was. We got a ladder now. I was trying to throw it out there. We were throwing out some challenges online a little bit. So I got to turn some win lights on and try and race Eric Monahan at some point throughout the weekend. See if I can stay 2-0, get to 2-0. We got one win. He gave me one at the Bracket Bonanza. He turned it red to me, but yeah, we'll see. Should be awesome. I'm excited to get. I don't know. I just don't want to stop racing. Right. I'm driving home Sunday night from Napierville, and like Sunday afternoon because I was gone early. As I said to Rach, I'm like, I just want to keep racing. That's all I want to do. Right. I love it and love doing all that stuff. So yeah. See, I got Eric in the comments. Eric says, "Bring it." I love it. Gonna be a lot of fun.
I've never seen a shootout race that needed to have a ladder so early just to get the smack talk out of the way.
Just to get it wound up.
Yes. Yeah. It's
it's good. It's gonna be exciting, right? It's a lot of fun. I love getting so involved in all the different stuff and kind of the shootout, the after races are a good time, right? Those afternoon, fall races, they just have a different feel. I don't know what the weather's gonna be like for this weekend. I love when it starts to cool off and everything kind of you get that chill in the air. And
it's a great question because everything I looked at didn't show anything cooling off.
Well, it might not be, but it's just the idea of it sounds.
The concept is there. I understand exactly what you're saying, but I've been watching forecasts for a little while now in different places, and cooling off was not the term I was using for anywhere I think I could possibly race. Although Ottawa looks good.
That's all right.
You'll be fine. It's just the rest of us going the other direction will likely.
Well, that's not my problem then. I'm all good.
No.
Sander, we have also got right now, I believe it's right now, happening the U.S. Nationals in Indy. So a bunch of Canadians down there. Is it right now, Andrew?
It's lined up. I don't know if they hit the track today, but they certainly will be on the track tomorrow. No questions about that. They've been stacking since last November, I think, or whatever.
I believe it has not stopped. Yes. Everybody rolling in. So yes, we will have results from the U.S. Nationals. Hopefully some big Canadian results should be. I just said the fall bracket. TMP National Open Series or Canadian National Open Series, my bad. Labor Day Spectacular happening. Grand Bend. I don't know what the name of the event is. There's a race in JBM. Going on. 660 Sportsman Nationals has been moved for everybody paying attention to October 4th to 6th at Grand Bend. That was the one that was rained out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, August 16th to 18th, I think, was the weekend.
Last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. I don't know why I'm thinking 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's the 27th. No. So, anyway.
Either way. The one that we didn't go to because it was raining, moved it to the first weekend of October. So
more fall racing. That should be exciting.
Exactly. And fall racing at Grand Bend is fun.
It is.
Had some success when we went there last time in October 2 years ago. So that was cool. So, 660 Sportsman Nationals moved to then. Still shootout spots available for anybody who's paying attention, wants to get in. Be a great way to close the year out. I don't believe anybody else is racing at that point. I don't know when the last RCSS race.
I think it's actually the same weekend. That was the only scheduling aspect of this way.
They didn't. Well, they didn't. There's only so many weekends that you could reschedule it for. It's unfortunately that's the same deal. Hopefully,
I think you're working around bracket finals for everything, right? And then you got world finals stuff.
That was supposed to be the bracket finals, like the Ontario bracket finals.
Yeah, and that got moved up to fall fast. So it's juggling. I would suggest if you have a schedule and you had races you're going to go to at the GBM or Western Ontario area, just double check that schedule.
Yeah. We're probably not telling you anything that you don't already know at this point, but just in case you don't know, check your stuff out, right? Grand Bend and Cuba racers or anybody who had a team headed to the Ontario bracket finals that has been moved. I know Shannonville, Chuck Franz had a bunch of posts for team updates.
Yep.
So anybody who has raced at Shannonville can get on that team. I'm not sure if there's still spots available, but message Chuck if you're interested in that. Yeah, a lot of great racing left in the year. We are starting September here this weekend. So, we'll have a bunch of points championships sealed up.
More stuff to be decided.
I'm not really close. Well, kind of. I need a really good fall bracket weekend to give me an opportunity at the Super Tour to get anywhere close. Currently,
you just need
Rachel
those weekends where a bunch of people just fall out of their motorhome and you just fall into the winner circle.
Hey, but like I said, I know a guy who's had a really good fall bracket at Napierville Dragway before and turned on a lot of win lights. So currently, I'm sitting 13th in the points. Rachel's 14th, and Andrew Sturck is 12th. So
I know at least
13th.
one person you're going to pass.
Yes, that's it. I am fairly positive I will pass Andrew Sturck. So
if you don't, in 2 weeks we're going to reconvene. I will phone your local authorities for a mental health checkup.
Yeah,
oh boy,
because it's not good.
No.
But yeah, that's about it. So that's about that for tonight's show, tonight's episode. Thank you to everyone chiming in. Right, we had some great comments in there. Everybody getting involved. Thanks to Max for coming on, taking the time to come on and do this. Good luck to everyone moving forward with the final races of the year. I know it is dwindling down. It's a shame to even say that, but here we are. Stay focused. Turn on the win lights you need to. Good luck in your points chases. We'll have a bunch of results because I believe in 2 weeks the National Open Series will be finished as well.
Yeah,
so that'll be cool.
We'll be thick into countdowns of championship varieties.
Yes. So that'll be great. Thank you, Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service, for this continued support. I didn't talk about it today. I can't really even see it right now. Oh, I can. The lights are on. The outside lights are on, so I can still see the shop from the house. Any questions, info you need, parts, things like that, send me a message on Facebook, or if you have my number, text me. It's easy to get. BrackeLifeBrand.com, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Send anybody a message. We'll get you set up. Lots of stuff there. So thank you guys very much. Andrew, you are headed to Norwalk.
Yep. We're going to leave Thursday, heading to the 40 Grand Slam, and then leaving from there to go to the Summer Fling in Bristol.
Yes.
So we got a tour.
It's going to be great. A lot of big racing. A lot of stuff to watch. So we'll be watching Bristol. I know Norwalk doesn't have a live feed, but I'll be getting updates, I'm sure. And
do my best.
When Andrew puts in the winner's circle, we'll see it then. We'll see the winner's circle photo. So we don't need a live stream to see the winner's circle photo, but that's all I know. So good luck to you.
Facebook will be updated as fast as possible.
That's it. Good luck to you. Good luck to everybody else. Thanks for always tuning in. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you. Let me get it set up. Hold on.
Oh.
All right. Now we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Have fun.
Have a good one.
35 years ago, a lot has changed over the years, but one thing still remains the same.
Our passion for fixing cars. With a team of over 12 men and women, they work day in and day out to provide us the best quality service possible.
From light and heavy duty vehicle repairs and maintenance work,
Diagnostics and racing transmissions.
Performance parts and Jeep upgrades.
Automotive detailing.
Used car sales.
And towing through our sister company, AC Towing.
Our team has the knowledge and understanding to solve all your vehicle needs while putting your mind at ease.
Experience the Ogilvy difference.
It's worth the drive.